Hello everybody, my name is Andrea Campbell and I'm very happy today for this special treat, which is a yin yoga practice geared towards opening up the chakras, the 7 energy centers that run through the center line of the body, starting with the root chakra and moving all the way up to the crown. All you'll need today is a yoga bolster and a couple of blocks. Let's get started. We're going to start off in a very grounding dragonfly pose. So take your legs out wide, even lift that pelvis up and set it down nicely so the pelvis is tilting forward. Not going too deep, too fast into this pose, as we will be holding it for time, but do feel free to grab a block, perhaps your bolster if you have one. Here I'm going to create a nice little platform to lean forward and rest on as I hold the pose for time. You might prefer to just sit up tall and breathe into your shape. So once you find that comfortable shape, I'd like you to focus your attention on to the area of the body at the very, very base of the spine, so the low body, the root chakra, Muladhara. And as you settle into the pose, we'll recite the mantra, I am. I am safe. I am protected. All is as it should be. I am. So as you recite this mantra quietly to yourself, marry it with the breath. Inhale as you say I. Exhale as you say am. The breath is such a powerful tool. It allows us to calm the mind, soften through the body, gradually letting go with each exhale. If you have your head turned to one side, you can go ahead and turn it to the other. Starting to deepen the breath. Preparing to move out of the pose, slowly, gently lifting, pausing for a moment, and then gently setting your props off to the side. Grab the outside of the legs and draw them up into a windshield wiper position. We'll drop the knees from side to side to release the pose. And we'll prepare for our next pose by laying down onto our backs. Let's first just start by drawing the knees into the chest. That always feels good. Rock from side to side, massage through the low back. Our focus is now the sacral chakra, that space below the belly button, the pelvis. You have 2 blocks. Place them on either side of your upper body. Extend your legs straight up. Cross the right leg over the left, and then bend the knees and take hold of the shins, drawing the legs gently away from the body. Now you might be able to slide your hands so that they rub to the outsides of the feet, or you might prefer to just keep them on the shins. The knees are slightly stacked here, but do be mindful if you are dealing with any knee injuries. So always being very compassionate with the self. So those blocks could sit nicely under the triceps or pillows, whatever you have really. And then feel that grounding sensation through the pelvis. So our sacral chakra, Svadhisthana, this is our pleasure center where we hold our creativity, our uniqueness, our sensuality. So here in this reclined shoelace pose, we'll recite the mantra, I feel. Breathing into I, exhaling into feel. I am beautiful. I am creative. I am unique. And I feel. Settle in with your breath. Find the shape that works. And soften in. We'll gently start to release, extending the legs up, maybe giving them a little shake. Now we'll cross the left leg over the right, stacking the knees, bending the knees. I'd start by taking hold of the shins first, and then if it feels okay, you may want to grab the outsides of the feet as they draw away from the body, knees pulling into the chest. And then coming back to that mantra, I feel. Take another nice deep breath in. As you exhale, let's start to release the pose letting go of the legs, extending them up, giving them a shake, pulling the knees into the chest and rocking a little from side to side. We're going to hold on to that left knee, extending the right leg out long. Drawing that left knee across the body, opening the left arm up to the side. You can take the right hand onto the thigh. If that top leg is floating, you could also slide a block, bolster, or pillow underneath that leg for extra comfort as we come into our reclined twist. Now focusing on the solar plexus chakra, Manipura. And this is where we hold our identity. So this is the area above the belly button. And the color here is a glowing yellow. And here the mantra, I do. I do enough. I am enough. I accept myself and am positively empowered in everything I do. I do. Let's use those big diaphragmatic breaths, breathing all that spaciousness into the belly and feeling that sensation as we do. Unlocking stored or stagnant energy and allowing it to set free. And then we'll gently start to release. Just take your time here. Setting the feet down, both feet, shifting the hips so that they feel nicely aligned, pulling both knees into the chest. Take the palms to the kneecaps and just make circles. It's a really nice massage into the low back. Feels really good. We'll keep that right knee drawn in, extend the left leg long, and coming back into the twist, other side, draw the right leg across the body. Open the right arm up. Sliding any props underneath that top leg if you need it. And find a shape where you can completely let go. You're not trying to hold a leg up. You're using those props so that you can breathe and release. Take another nice deep breath in. And when you're ready, slowly start to release out of the pose. Setting both feet down, shifting the hips, aligning the spine, and then drawing the knees into the chest. And we can make those circles again. Massage the low back. Now we'll move into the next energy center by sitting up. And we're going to set ourselves up into melting heart pose, or Anahatanasana. Now, I like to do this pose with a bolster underneath my chest. I find it's a really nice restorative way almost to do melting heart. Let's first start just by doing some cat and cows, arching the back and then rounding the spine forward. Doing that a few times, just to limber up the spine before we go into our back bend. So that bolsters underneath the chest. The arms start to slide forward as the chest makes contact with the bolster. The knees are stacked over the hips, and the chin is just coming over the edge of the bolster. So I want you to make sure you find the shape that feels comfortable. And if you have a really generous back bending practice, you could forego the bolster and melt your heart right down onto your mat. Here we're focusing on our heart chakra, right at our chest, that glowing color of green. Reciting the mantra, I am love. I embody unconditional love in everything I do. I am love. Take your breath deeply into this heart space where we give and receive love each and every day. Allow that breath to unlock and open yourself up to this loving energy. Allow your body to melt with every exhale. I am love. Take one more big spacious breath here. And then gradually transitioning out of the pose by pressing the hands into the earth, rising up onto all fours. Stack your hands under your shoulders. We'll do a few cat and cows here to release the pose. So take your time with it. Move with your breath. And now we'll get ready for our next pose. So we're going to need a bolster and a block. You may choose 2 blocks. Coming into a supported reclined fish pose. So we're taking here in this variation, the bolster comes wide, nice and close to the low back, and then the block is on the other side for the head. So place your elbows onto the bolster, round your spine, and then grab the block so that you place it right in the right spot underneath the head. So take a moment, make sure that this feels good for the low back. Bend and adjust as you need to, and you might prefer to actually bend your knees and plant your feet down onto your mat. So I'm going to leave that up to you. And same things with your arms. You can take them to the heart, to the belly, to the side. I like to take them overhead, so that's what I'm going to do here. But of course, if you have shoulder pain, you'll probably choose something different. This can be a very vulnerable pose. This is the focus of the throat chakra. So right there in the throat, this is our communication channel. This is where we express ourselves. So our mantra for the throat chakra is, I am truth. I express myself with grace and integrity. I am truth. Now, if you have a stronger back bending practice, you may forego the block under the head, but do make sure that the head is landing onto the mat or onto something. Now, you can see an option I'm doing here is to bring the legs into a butterfly shape. That's just an option. This option here is almost a full chakra release, starting with grounding in through our hips, our root chakra, in through our sacral with that hip opening butterfly pose, lifting up through the solar plexus, through the heart, and now through our throat chakra. It's okay if this feels vulnerable. Focus on your breath. Focus on your mantra. I am truth. Take another big spacious breath here. Gently start to release first by setting the feet down, bending the knees, taking the hands behind the head as you gently lift the head and roll over to the side, sitting yourself up and taking your props off to the side. Here I'm just sitting in a hero pose. And we'll just do some seated cat and cows. You can take your seated cat and cows differently if you want to come right down to your seat in a cross-legged position. It just feels nice after a back bend. Just limber up the spine. Our next pose is child's pose, where we're focusing on our third eye chakra. So taking the knees wide and the toes together, if that feels good, extending the arms straight out, and then allowing the forehead to land onto the mat. I invite you to roll the forehead from side to side, massaging this third eye chakra. maybe even easing any headache pain. Now we'll just walk it over to the left. You can place your right hand on top and sink back down into your side child's pose, so your forehead still making contact with the earth. Getting a nice side stretch through the right side of the body. And now we'll walk it straight forward and over to the other side. This time the left hand on top of the right. Feeling a stretch through the left side body. And then back to center, reach forward, relax the head down to the earth. Feel that nice release through the low back. And as we settle into our child's pose, focusing on that glowing blue at the third eye, right in between the eyebrows, the mantra, I see. I trust my intuition and follow its wisdom. I see. Follow your breath. Recite the mantra and relax. Start to deepen your breath. Gently moving and rising out of the pose. Just take a moment here, take a pause. And then we'll prepare for our final chakra and our final Savasana. I encourage you to slide a bolster underneath the knees. It's a lovely way to take pressure off the low back as you just lay here in the pose. Take up as much space as you like. Feel nice and relaxed through the feet. Relax through the legs. The body grounding into the earth. The arms restful out to the side. Let the breath just flow naturally as the jaw softens, and the eyes relax. And we recite the mantra here, I understand. I honor the divine within me. I honor the divine within all beings. I understand. Rest here peacefully. Maybe visualizing this glowing color of purple and knowing that you are part of something bigger than you know. Beginning to deepen your breath. Starting to slowly wake up the body with tiny little movements in through the fingers and the toes. And then growing those movements. Take a big stretch overhead. Reach and point the toes. Get long here. And pull those knees into your chest. Give yourself one final hug of the practice. Roll onto your side. Very gently, slowly press yourself up to seated. Sitting comfortably with your legs crossed. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, look up, palms together. Exhale, draw the hands all the way down the energy centers of the body. And then again, inhale, sweep up, palms together. Exhale, flow the hands down. One more, reach up high to the sky, palms together. This time, hands rest at heart. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Namaste.